This factory has been producing rope for 400 years. This is Master Rope Makers in Chatham Dockyard, and it's the only traditional working rope walk in the world. It still uses the same methods and 150-year-old equipment to create each rope.
The process has barely changed in hundreds of years. The mechanism that drives the machinery has changed. Currently it's a very large electric motor. Prior to that it was a steam engine from about the 1830s, but the actual rope making process on the rope walk hasn't changed in hundreds and hundreds of years. The rope makers will calculate how many yarns are required for each strand for a given size rope. They're loaded onto these banks, and then the yarns, as you can see, are threaded through these plates to keep them separate, to stop them from becoming tangled, and they're drawn down the rope walk behind me by the forming machine, when, as it progresses, twists the individual yarns together to make a strand.
The rope walk is 1/4 of a mile long. It's so long that the rope makers use bicycles to get from one end to the other. The building had to be long enough to make 220-metre lengths of rope, enough for a ship to anchor in 40 fathoms of water.
Once the strands have been made on the forming machine, they are tied between two posts, one each end of the rope walk, to stop them from unravelling, keep the tension. And then when the rope makers are ready to close the rope, to finish the rope making process, the 3 strands, or sometimes 6, are transferred onto the rope making machine, which is another twisting process. And then in this part of the process, 3 of the strands are twisted together to make a finished rope.
This constant twisting process gives the rope its enormous strength. Chatham Dockyard was once at the forefront of shipbuilding. Throughout its history it provided over 500 ships for the Royal Navy, and each of these ships needed a lot of rope. An 18th century first-rate ship of the line would need around 31 miles of rope, 20 miles just for its rigging. At its height, the dockyard employed over 10,000 workers. The yarn used to be created on the site too, and in a room just above the rope walk, raw fibres of hemp and flax were combed and spun. The rope made here has been used on the Cutty Sark and the HMS Victory, and is still supplied to historic ships today.
We make about £500,000 worth of rope a year. One of my colleagues claims that will stretch from here to the moon, which I think is a bit of an exaggeration. We're very keen to keep the trade alive. It's the last traditional dockyard trade that's still working in the dockyard. All the welders and riveters and carpenters have all gone. The rope making has been in continuous use for 400 years. So we're very keen to keep that trade alive and keep the guys employed.